after losing in game 2, Larsen came back in game 3, and although obtaining a decent position and chances, Tal was up to the challenge, and after a struggle, the game was drawn. As you can see from this position, Tal was playing very dynamically in nature, but Larsen was up to the task here. You see Larsen himself giving up the exchange, d6, he takes e7, but he wasn't able to gain the full point off Tal, and again the long struggle. This game was agreed drawn. In game 4, in game 4, another titanic struggle took place. The game lasted 77 moves. Tal had the white pieces. Larsen struck back with the Alekhine defense. Tal was not able to do anything in game 4 against this variation here. And just moving forward, Larsen actually at the move 50 here actually had excellent winning chances here. After the moves king f3, rook d3 check, simply king e2, and it's very hard to see how Tal is going to defend this position. h6, rook h7, rook h5, and then let's say e4 for example. If he takes here, then if he takes on f5, then black would simply eliminate the pawn on h6, freeing his rook. So rook h2, king f3, rook f2, king g4, again rook h2, protecting the pawn, f4, let's say king f1, king g3, and I just don't see how white is able to deal with those connected e and f pawns. Rook g2, king f3, rook f2, king e3, again going back to protect the h6 pawn, f3, rook h3, king f4, just preparing the advance of the e pawn. Rook b7 is possible too, just threatening checkmate. Rook h4, king g3, rook takes, now you have king e1 because mate was threatened. Rook h1 check, king d2, and then f2, and there's no way to deal with this. Rook e3, king g4, rook e4, and you can just play a move like king f5. He's still queen, and you know the deal from there. So Larsen had excellent winning chances here in game 4 against Tal, but he wasn't able to convert this, and Tal was able to draw the game. After that one pawn was gone, he was able to use the threat of advancing his h pawn to keep black at bay here. They both wind up queening, and then the game was drawn. So game 3 and 4, like the first 2 games, were hotly contested, but they ended in draws. That brings us to game 5 candidates. Larsen has the white pieces here, and Tal with the black pieces. So d4, knight f6, c4, g6, knight c3, and Tal had tried the Nimzo Indian defense in game 1. not I'm sorry, not the Nimzo Indian, the King's Indian defense in game one, and he wasn't crushed, but he lost. He lost, in a pretty straightforward fashion. He didn't really put up any great fight. So, and then in game three, he tried to play like a Nimzo Indian. So here, he's trying to find, something that he's comfortable with here, and opts for the Grunfeld. Larsen was, of course, very well prepared in this match, and gets a nice position here. And again, I think Larsen is more or less implementing his style in the match than Tal is so far. Because Tal is not able to get those positions that where it's just like he's like real dynamic. Like he's trying, but it's like Larsen is up to the task. That's why I say that they're similar players in a way, you know. Queen h4, bishop g3, queen h5, and then they just go right into this ending. And here's a situation where Larsen gets Tal to kind of overpress. But e4, I mean, it looks good, right? The bishop is locked on g5. But here, I mean, this attack on the f7 pawn causes Tal to, make his rook passive by bringing it back. And now bishop d6. Just real simple tactics. h6, and then he just wins the exchange. Now, just knight f3, of course. E takes f3 is not happening because the bishop not protected. Knight e1, bishop a6. So, just like that, he has to give up his outpost, and he kind of refutes Tal's idea. Larsen keeps attacking, trades off some pieces. Notice how Tal doesn't have any kind of attack, like any kind of compensation for the exchange. So he's just lost. And it's not a matter of him just being lost. It's just he's lost in real straightforward, simple way. So Larsen is just taking it to him. He's just winning material and just kind of out. Early in the match, just kind of outclassing him here. I mean, this game is over. I could have stopped analyzing about 5 moves ago. And here at move 50, Tal just gave it up. Tal threw in the towel. So here Larsen takes the lead in the match here. But again, I just want to bring up this position because again, instead of e4 here, just a normal move like rook ac8 would have been, or h6, perhaps. But again, I can see that the pawn on e5 is on pre, so he was just thinking like, okay, well, I'm going to save the pawn. I'm going to solidify the bishop on d3. But it's just interesting because everything was already calculated by Larsen here. He has no decent way to protect that pawn. If he goes to d8, for instance, now there's a problem with the rook on d7 not being protected. So after knight takes c4, let's say knight takes, now bishop takes is not possible because of rook d7. So it seems like on all of these, in these tactical complications, unlike Portish, it seemed Portish, who was trying to more avoid that, that ground with Tal, is like Larsen is willing to step into the, into the thicket with Tal, and so far he's like, just kind of outplaying him, maybe seeing a little farther or just evaluating the position is a little clearer than Tal at this point. Because again, after just rook f8, bishop d6, I mean, he's practically just won the game like right out of the opening pretty much.